Hi, good morning. How are you? How are you doing? Yesterday was a pretty good day. I'm excited to be here today. I'm not sure what I'm going to work on, but we're going to have fun. Actually, I think I know. I got something I can do. Uh, let's start off. Hi, I'm Deshaun, a Spring developer advocate. I don't know what that means. I don't know where it's going to take me or what it's going to be, but it's a lot of fun right now. I'm really enjoying this. I enjoy hanging out with you. I enjoy you getting over hurdles. Yesterday we had a lot of fun. We got through most of the things. Uh, we started off with just some questions, and we just kind of went chunk, chunk, chunk. Got a lot of help from the audience, and it was fantastic. So it's early. It's 8:30 ish for me here in Kansas City, and it's cold outside and it's cold inside. But yeah, we're getting started. I talk about Raspberry Pi, ARM 64, and other single board computers. Spring, of course. Spring Boot is my jam. Spring Cloud. Kubernetes. Maybe you've heard of Kubernetes. Build packs. And just like stuff. So I don't have anything that I'm trying to accomplish today. Sometimes the fun way to learn is just like running into problems. So let's start off by saying, hey, where are you from? Let me know where you're from. My kids are watching. My mom and dad are watching. Let me say hi, mom, dad. I love you guys. My mom and dad always watch, and that's wonderful. And yeah, let me know where you're from, and let's jump into something. While you let me know where you're from, or where you're joining us from, I'm going to pull up some other computers, and we've been working on this Java Grunt stuff, and we're going to now take it to production, or we're going to move it. So right now we're using Kubernetes. We have Kubernetes on our desktop. We have Kubernetes in the ARM 64 cluster in the closet over there. Uh, we also did Kubernetes on Cluster Hat. I did pick up a new Raspberry Pi yesterday, and actually, let's take a look at where we were yesterday. So yesterday, what's happening? So I'm trying to connect to Cluster Hat 00, and it's not working. That's not a good sign. That's not a good sign. There's another not good sign. That tunnel is down. So we're having some issues on this thing that we built yesterday. Hello, hello, Maelstrom. Wonderful to see you. Glad that you're here. We are running into some issues. I think our cluster hat was a little underpowered. So now I've got some questions. There it came. We're good. I think it's just a little underpowered. So let's take a peek. Oh, look at, I've got some upgrading to do here as well. Got the sniffles. This cold is awful. We got a couple of things to do. So I'm going to let this go. I know that that computer is a little underpowered. And here's what I think I'm going to do. I think I'm going to just add 2 nodes to that cluster that's upstairs. I think that'll be okay. What I'll need to do is I need to find a PoE switch, which we got one there. I have one more. I want to find a PoE switch so I can just take these other 2 nodes. What we found out was one of the nodes just didn't have enough resources, and we're really kind of pushing the limits a little bit on that. It's got 4 gigs total for the cluster, and we did get Knative serving figured out. Jonas pointed us towards a Envoy container that would allow us to do to use the Raspberry Pi kernel. I want to just do this cluster. I thought I hit the button. Ooh, that's not a good sign. That is not a good sign. Let's do... Let's do this. Let's see if we can get any kind of info back. And I promise I'll get into spring. I was expecting I'm going to have the same problems as I move over to this ARM64 cluster. But yesterday, I wasn't deploying Knative serving to ClusterHat because of the kernel that was being deployed to those devices. But I think we worked over it or worked through it. What are these nodes? So couldn't get current API server list. So yeah, just timeout. It's just struggling. So let me just peek over here real quick. Let me see if I can find another PoE switch. Oh, which is right here. And here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna upgrade that cluster. We're not gonna abandon it. We're gonna upgrade it. We're gonna just give it a little more power. So with these devices right here, we are gonna take a couple of steps here. So I've got two more Raspberry Pi devices. Here's the thing: I didn't have a plan for those. They were gonna go just into the ARM64 cluster, but now I'm interested and I'm excited about the progress that we made. So we're going to add a little bit. So what we're going to do first is we're going to, what's a PoE switch and how does it work? Good question. PoE means power over Ethernet. So when I plug in this switch, here's a switch. It looks just like a switch, except this one's a little bit different. It's got a little bit more power going into it. And then on some of these ports, actually on all of these ports, it'll actually deliver power, enough power to power up a Raspberry Pi over the little Ethernet cables. So let's switch over here. So these Raspberry Pi devices, they've got a little hat on top of them that will take power from the Ethernet port and power up the entire board. One of the benefits of these Raspberry Pi devices and other small computers is they don't take a lot of power. So I can literally power up. The only cords that are coming into this device are my network and my power are in the same cord. So when I deploy this right anywhere, it's just one less thing that I've got to deal with. It gets its network and its power over the same cord. So when we're on the edge, that's kind of nice. One less cord that we have to run out to the yard, out to the treetop or wherever it's going. So I realized I wasn't showing my stuff. Let's get some music. And hopefully the audio is okay. Hopefully that was a good answer for your question. But let's get some music going. Let's switch our mic. It's going to be a good day. We're going to go ahead and stick. I use Monstercat. I pay for Monstercat so that I can use it during the stream. And I hear nothing. Oh, it's out there. There we go. I'm feeling good. So that was a good answer. Excellent. Miguel, how are you? Good morning or good afternoon or good evening, either way. Let me know where you're from. Let me know where you're joining from. We have a problem here with our Kubernetes cluster that we were messing with yesterday. We're going to go ahead and take some steps today to upgrade it. So the way we're going to upgrade the cluster is we're going to give it more power. We're going to give it 2 more nodes. So let's just get through that real quick. I don't know what these were called. Oh, this is Lukey. Okay. I remember. Okay, so this, what I'm changing here, I'm changing this cluster. So I'm going to get rid of this Lukey cluster because I'm taking those two nodes that were in Lukey and I'm going to put them in cluster hat, which is fine, right? Or should I do it the other way around? Hello from Transylvania. That is awesome. Tukes, welcome in. Miguel's in Spain. I have been to Transylvania. That is awesome. That is awesome. Should I make... I kind of like this idea of the cluster hat. Maybe I pause that because what I think I'd really like to do is replace the cluster hat's got a 2 gig controller board or control node. I think I'd like to give it an 8 gig one. Yes. Good afternoon. So let's pause on that. We'll come back to that. So that's Deshaun.io is over there. It's having issues, and I understand it's having issues, but I'm trying to think of like what's a good stream and what's gonna give us the most bang for the buck on what we're showing. So let's do this. Let's switch to K3D Juice. That's this box that we're using. Let's take a look at what we got going on. K3D Juice. Hello. All right. The only thing we have there is Java Grunt. And this is my development machine. I want to move this off. I want to move it over to another cluster. So that shouldn't be a big deal. But I know that I had issues with this other cluster as well. I tried to do this on stream before, so we're just going to get to it. I want to move this stuff. I think I can close all these. And the way that I would move a cluster, a tenant, I want to move it to ARM64. ARM64 has Arcade native serving infrastructure. That's good. And what I want to do is I want to take this tenant, Java Grunt, I want to move it over to ARM64, and that's what I'm going to do. Sorry about my sniffles. So if I go get status, we moved it. I think that's all I need to do. Get move Java Grunt to ARM64 cluster. So because we're using Flux, what should happen just by doing my git commit? What should happen is I should see Java Grunt disappear from, oh, it's already started. I should see Java Grunt disappear from this cluster. Let's do this, brew update. It's a habit. Brew upgrade. Make sure we're on the latest and greatest. This will take a sec. But then we're going to jump over to the ARM64 cluster, and we're going to see, hopefully, that our tunnel is set up. I don't know if I ran the tunnel. We'll find out. We'll see if our tunnel is set up, and we'll see if our Java Grunt com tenant is ready. Oh boy. So one of the things that we don't really talk about, okay, this is a good question. What's the use of tenant? So the way that I've got this set up, good question. Thank you for asking it. In a reminder, like I'm here to be interrupted. I don't have a schedule. I don't have. right? I am here, and I'm quoting Josh, at your service. So ask questions, and there's all sorts of questions. There's no bad questions. We'll try to keep it kid friendly because my kids do watch, and mom and dad are watching. So the way I've got a tenant set up is these are the different teams or projects or companies or orgs, depending on how you're doing it. Maybe they're customers. I'll turn my hat one way and I'm a platform engineer where I'm trying to deliver applications to production. And then the other side, I'll turn it and I'm a developer and I want my code to get to production. So I'm using open source tools. I'm trying to keep it simple. I'm deploying to ARM64 single board computers like Raspberry Pis. There are some fancy computers in the stack in that big fancy data center that is that closet. But the way that I have this set up is like javagrunt-com. That maps to github.com/javagrunt-com. This is a bunch of projects that we've built on stream together, and they get deployed. That's a unit. So that's a tenant. That's a domain that maps to javagrunt.com, which is down. Oh, because we just moved it between clusters. So we're going to figure out what our issue is right now. So this is updated. I'm going to do my cube CTX. I'm going to switch over to ARM64. And then I'm going to go into K9s. Oh, and you can't see that because it's behind. Sorry. Hey, wonderful. Thank you. I'm learning a lot, and I'm very grateful, and I'm glad that you're here. And Jonas, I'm glad that you're here. Jonas, my cluster is in a bad state. We might take a look at fixing that. I think I need to give it a little bit more power. So I've found a couple of computers that I'm going to add to that cluster that we worked on yesterday. But I came over here and I deployed JavaGrunt. I moved it from my K3D Juice over to my ARM64 cluster, which is like my beefiest production cluster. And I think I did not deploy the secrets. So let's do that real quick, just to make sure. I have it in my README, how to do that. We'd say customize, build, env. We want the JavaGrunt tunnel, pipe env subst, pipe kubectl, apply. All right. Hopefully that hopefully that fixes this part. This one says create a container configure. Do I have other secrets I need to deploy? Oh, I might have some other secrets I need to deploy. And no, they're all in here. Oh, I did SOPs. And I didn't deploy that to ARM64. And honestly, I don't remember how to do that off the top of my head. This, import the cluster's public key. I don't think I did this. So I think I had it over here. Wait, that doesn't look right. I know I had it working here. Let me figure that out. Let's take a look here. Hello, Thomas. And Jonas, we were working on that cluster hat, little cluster, but remember I only had the little 2 gig, 2 gig device on the bottom. And I don't think it's enough because here's what it looks like today. Where did I put it? It's down. That tunnel that we put on there is down and I can't connect to it. So remember, it was doing a lot of work trying to get things to fit into place. And yeah, it struggled a little bit. So we'll get there. We'll go there. That's okay. So there's nothing off topic because I'm a Spring guy. But any good resources to learn the Jakarta EE specification, especially those concerned for the backend. I learned Spring Boot via some great books like Spring Boot Up and Running from Mark Heckler. Very good book, but don't seem to find anything comparable for Jakarta EE. So I don't have a good resource. I don't know a good one. This is Nefine. So I don't have that answer. But one of the things that I like to say is, I don't always have the answers, but I got friends. So what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to reach out to my friend that works for Oracle, and I'm going to see if I can get some resources. Please hold, because I'm going to see. I'm going to say, where do you point people when they want to learn about Jakarta EE? So, again, I don't have all the answers. I have friends. So I'm going to reach out to my friend Billy Carando, and I'll actually do this for you, right? Like, he's my friend. He should be your friend too. Let me Twitter. This is who I'm reaching out to. This guy, Billy. He's awesome. He knows a lot of things. He works at Oracle, and that's who I just reached out to. So, Nefine, this is who I ask my question to. And if you'd like, you should follow Billy. Let me do this. I'll put Billy's Twitter into the chat, and I'm going to wish you the best of luck in whatever you're trying to figure out. Now, with that said, what are you trying to figure out? Because, yeah, Spring is awesome. What are you trying to do? Like, what? Tell me about your project. Because maybe there's a solution inside of Spring. Maybe. Not always, but maybe. Maybe there is. Maybe there's something that we can do to help you out. And that goes for anybody. What are you working on? What are we stuck on? You can see what I'm stuck on. So I'm pretty sure I know what I'm stuck on is I try to put secrets into the cluster because I've got connections to Redis. And I don't remember what the other one is. What is this secret for? I forget. Oh, I think it's for Postgres. I put some Yugabyte credentials in there. But honestly, I did this a while ago, and I don't remember how to do it. So we could do that because this is not coming up. Okay, Cloudflare D is up and running, but I think these guys are looking for secrets. I think they're both wanting to connect to Redis. Let me just take a peek. Let's see what's happening here. I've got the public key. I got some creation rules. Here's the key. And then I've got some encrypted values. So what I think I need to do is I need to give, not the tenant, I think I have to give the cluster the private key so that it can unencrypt everything. So let's just do that. Let's figure that out. We are over here, and we're going to go to Flux, SOPs, and let's see if I can figure out. Nafeen says, this shirt is a solution for Spring. I really like it, but the company that I work has a project from a client that has a Jakarta EE backend, so I have to train myself. I looked at the specification and such, but I want a more digestible form of content, like a wonderful book I mentioned. Yeah, that book is amazing. And okay, that makes sense. Yeah, sometimes you don't have control over the stack, and you just have to go in and figure things out. Yeah, share more details. Tell us what you're working with. Maybe we can figure it out together here. The nice thing, or one of the nice things, is like Java's been around for a long time. Jakarta EE has grown over 20-ish years. And yeah, what used to be called J2EE or JEE is now Jakarta EE. So share, what are you trying to figure out? What are you trying to do? Maybe it's something simple that we can help out with. There's not just me, but in our little chat here, there's a lot of really smart people. And I have the sniffles really bad. So I was looking at Flux, SOPs, secrets. We did this. We've done this, I know. We've generated a key. We've got a key. And export the public and private key pair from your local GPG keyring and create a Kubernetes secret named SOPs GPG in the Flux system namespace. So this is the command that I need to do with this key. So that puts it into the cluster, and then that's it. So I think that I have this key in my secret store. So let's see if we can figure that out, because this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to, oh, wait. Oh, they scaled down the gateway and the service scaled down because they didn't, first of all, they didn't come up, but then they didn't need to be up. So let's see if we can get these going. Right? Let's see what our current status is real quick. Java Grunt com. It should at least hit the Cloudflare. Good. So it says, hey, yeah, cool. But it couldn't find that service. That service didn't exist. Is that right? Can service list -a. The services are deployed, but they don't have a working revision, so they're not ready. Okay. So let's do this. I should have the key in here somewhere. Here, that's probably the key ID. So then I should be able to do this back here. We're gonna say, hey, let's give, not this part, let's do this part. Let's give our cluster that we're in now, I was on K3D, let's give our cluster that we're in now that key. So let's do this, export key FP. I'll do it here so we can see. Export key underscore FP, whoops, equals, there it is. And then the next step, we already did that. The next step is this part. From file SOPs ASC. I think this is fine. Kubectl create generic SOPs. Yeah, I think this will work. So now I've got a secret inside of this cluster. Configure in cluster secret decryption. Flux create source get my secrets. What did I do? Trying to read through how we're getting these SOPs secrets in. And I've just got to export the public key into the Git directory. I put it into the tenant. So instead of putting it into the cluster, I put it into the tenant. So that's already in the tenant. Git add cluster. Already did that. Did that. Configure the Git directory for encryption. So this is what we need to do. Nope, that's already done because it's part of the tenant. The SOPs YAML is here, right? So we already did that. Creation rules. Okay. Encrypting secrets. We already did that. That's already. Yeah, we already put that into our cluster. I think we're okay. I think we're okay. I don't think I have to put anything else in the cluster, right? Because I didn't do it up here. I didn't put anything into K3D juice, did I? No. So I think we should be good. Now that it's got the secrets and it knows how to do things, let's go back to this. K9s. How do you port your CD pipeline to your Raspberry Pis? I'm using Flux CD. So let's take a look here. Let's see if we can get these things working. This guy should be good. Okay, we got tunnels registered. That looks wonderful. Now let's try this again. Doesn't like it. Still doesn't like it. So let's try to just bump it. I want to try to rerun the Bootstrap so I can get that deployment out there. Now that they've got their secrets, hopefully this works. All right, so those components are healthy. We should see, we don't. I wanted to see the gateway and the listener bounce up, but they didn't. So we're on a new cluster. The idea here is in that tenant concept, I've got a Flux directory here. And inside of that Flux directory, I'm saying, hey, these are the versions of things that I want deployed. I've got a gateway and a YouTube listener. And let's do this. I should be able to add something. Let's go over here and do it though. Oh, let's do it this way. CD fun javagrunt-com. And let's see if we can get some of this stuff going. So we have a task, a Spring Cloud task. We have a web, we have a service gateway, and we have a service YouTube. We have the listener. So let's do this. Let's go into the com javagrunt service YouTube. And let's open that up. Let's see if we've got all of our CI/CD stuff working. Since you're asking about CI/CD, you, Maelstrom, I know that you've been around long enough where I am pushing all this stuff out using CircleCI and GitHub Actions, and it looks like they're configured. Let's just take a peek. This all looks good. We're using SDKman to get us a new version of Java. We're building an image, a native image. I've given it credentials. And it'll only build when we have a version. Okay, that looks good. This image name, I don't think we use. We do, but I need to fix it. Let me go over to a different project real quick. I think we have it fixed in the listener. So what we're doing here, let me close all this. In this manifest, I've made the changes that I need to change. So let's see if we can do a little diff. Runs on Ubuntu. I'm using the image name as this. It's got a ref. All right, so let's go fix that real quick. We're back in the service. I don't use this variable image name. So I want to replace it with sean/com.javagrunt.service.youtube. That is the image name. And then I think I have to, another place I need to change it. This right here. I probably could have just left it. Left that image name variable and just put this value in there since the other one wasn't working. Done. All right, so now we're building these images. But remember, I'm having the images being built by CircleCI and by GitHub Actions. I use CircleCI to build the ARM64 images. That's what's going to land on the Raspberry Pis. So here on COM Java Grunt Service YouTube, I think we're okay. I don't know if this service works, but we're going to deploy it anyways. We'll see. I'm hesitant. Is Pink-M around? Oh, whew. There's no secrets in there. All right, let's run this. Let's kick it, and let's see if we can get this thing going to production. So let's do git status. Oh, this one isn't even in my. Oh boy, let's fix that. So this is one that I was messing with when I wasn't streaming. So let's go to github.com, javagrunt.com. I want this to be deployed with the rest of my stuff. So here, let's do this. A convention com.javagrunt.service.youtube. It's going to be here. Of course, it's going to be public. We won't add a README, but we're going to create this repository that we already have. And in here, it wasn't Git, so we're going to do Git init. So we've got a Git repository, and then we're going to do these steps. Oops, hello. So that we can push all of this code. Uh-oh. It says failed to push some refs to javagrunt com javagrunt service youtube.git. Source. What? Git add dot. First pass. Git push. Git push. Set upstream origin main. Now we should have a repo that everybody can play along with. Fantastic. It has some not great README, but let's go fix that. Let's talk about what we're doing here. We're in this YouTube service, and what this is doing, what's the project name? com.javagrunt.service.youtube. Are there any prerequisites? I think it just needs Java 21. It might not need Java 21, but I'm saying it needs Java 21. The quick start should look like this. /mbnw spring boot test run. because then you have everything that you need. You'll have the test containers. You can stand it up. You can use it. This is all you need. Oh, you'll need source test. No, it has everything that it needs. So in that test application, it's got a Postgres container. So you can get started and it pulls in Zipkin. Yeah, we did it. So let's, I think that's it. Let's go back here. Oh, we got to change these things. Boop, boop. We have to change replace org with, oops, replace org with Java grunt-com. And we want to replace repository name with com.javagrunt.service.youtube. Replace all those. And then some of our links will look a little bit better. And that should be it. So this is going to make our README look better. Get status. Get add dot. Okay, now we pushed, but what we don't have is we don't have a tag. There's no tags. What we want to do in order to build those images, we have to do get tag v0.0.1 and then get push origin v0.0.1. Because when I tag it, I just have it locally. I want to push that tag up to my repository. Oh, and I just realized there's one more thing I gotta do. Over in Circle CI, I've got to say, hey, Circle CI, I want you to follow this project. So I'm gonna have to do another push here. Service, wait. Service gateway, this one. Oh, wait, no. Projects, there's two new ones. This one, service YouTube, set it up. From which branch? Main, duh. So set that up. And while we're here, let's do the same thing for the Pulsar example that we did. So let's jump here. I don't have Pulsar set up. Wait, where did the Pulsar example go? Oh, it's here. Let's move Pulsar to com.javagrunt.service.pulsar. I think that's what it was called. Yeah. So let's set up that project too while we're here. And say main. I don't have Pulsar infrastructure in place, so that one's not going to work when we get there. But this is kind of the thing. A lot of times there's solutions that exist. They need different infrastructure. But a lot of times we don't have the choice. So the way that I'm looking at this is which infrastructure am I going to support? I'm putting it on the menu. The way I'm putting it on the menu is in this Flux control. This is kind of the menu that I'm supporting. These are the things that I'm supporting for workloads that are running. There's tons of ways, and there's tons of databases that you're familiar with that you would like to have on the menu, but these are the ones that I can support. These are the ones that I feel comfortable providing support for. So these are the options that we have. And I put Pulsar on there, but I didn't implement it. But that's an example of how we might create that contract with what you want to deliver to this platform. So yesterday, Jonas was working on something for his cluster, and I was thinking, man, it'd be nice if there was a nice, easy way for me to bring on Jonas's workload without having to have all of Jonas's secrets. What does that look like? How are we going to manage the secrets in this platform tenant relationship? We'll get there. That problem has been solved many times, and we're testing it out. But right now we're going to try to bootstrap this a little bit, give it a little punch, like bang on it a couple of times to see if we can get some of these services deployed. So let's keep on going. I'm going back to my service. I've done a commit. I've pushed V1, but I'm going to push V2 because V1 didn't get built by Circle CI. So it sees it, but it didn't get that push with the V001. So we're going to do it again. But let's go check and see if this one worked. Oh, the update readme did not work. Something failed. Let's take a look. Okay, the build image somewhere. Let's see what happened before we kick off a V2. Let's see what happened. Change detected compiling. Version 21 not supported. I didn't have the right version in my GitHub action, perhaps. Oh, well, that's no good. That ought to help. Inside the build pack, yeah, it'll know what to do. All right, so we fixed that. Just make sure we did that same thing for Circle CI. We have this SDK man. I'm going to change this to 21.0.1-graal CE. And I'm going to be comfortable with that. Git add dot git commit -m fix or update Java versions. Git push. That git push isn't enough to do something. We've got to go get tag v0.0.2 git push origin v0.0.2 so that it can go and build me a version 2 that we can then deploy. And how do we deploy it? We deploy it with this other repository. Inside of the Java Grunt tenant, there is a Flux repository. That repository is where the Flux control is looking. It's looking, at this folder. In this folder, it finds this customization YAML. And we're going to give that customization YAML one more, javagrunt.service.youtube.yaml, which doesn't exist. So let's make it. Let's copy this one. Refactor, copy to service, not gateway service, YouTube. Fantastic. So now we've got this. Let's change the name, YouTube service. That's going to live in the Java Grunt namespace. Max scale is 1. Auto scaling window 60 seconds. Cool. Except it's not going to use the gateway service. It's looking for YouTube service, and we're going to deploy v0.0.2. It knows how to get to its own Zipkin, and it knows how to get the Redis details. Does this one need Redis? I think this is the one that uses Postgres. Do I have a Postgres secret set up? I don't think so. But we're gonna deploy it anyways. We'll figure it out. The nice thing is this is production-ish. Git status, git add dot, git commit, add YouTube service. Let's take a look. I kind of want to see the YouTube service show up here. But that's it. That's all that I need to do in order to point my CD pipelines to my Raspberry Pis. I'm using Flux. Flux is looking at the repository. It's saying, hey, let me take that image. but I'm using Circle CI to generate images, which it's separate, right? The CI, the continuous integration, is different from the continuous deployment. FluxCD is handling the continuous deployment. So let's see if this goes. Should I be concerned that none of the... probably not. So here we go. We're looking. We're hoping. Let's take a look at our build status here. Ooh, this is not good. We tried to update the Java versions and it didn't work still. What happened? What happened? Are you guys... I'm going to make mistakes. It says failed to execute Surefire plugin on Project YouTube. Surefire reports. Oh, there was errors. Oh, well, that's lame. My test didn't pass. Like, it's embarrassing. Not lame, it's embarrassing. Let's go back over here. And let's try this. So I just, halfway into making tests, like I said, I was doing this project off stream, so I wasn't using best practices. I apologize. Let's see if we can clean this up a little bit. Should return repository index. I don't think I need this. Why did that fail? Oh, again, SDK use Java 21.0.1 Graal CE SDK env init. Okay. So now let's do that again. mv-nw clean package. Easy peasy. Hey, Todd. Good morning. Just dropping to say hello before our meeting. Like, I appreciate you so much. I appreciate you. Good luck with your meeting. And are you right? You streamed today, right? Let us all know. I hope you streamed today. I hope you streamed today. But thank you for coming in, Todd, Libby. Do a little shout out. If you're not following, you should be. Oh, vacation until next week. All right. Well, I gave you a shout out anyways. I appreciate you stopping in. I hope things are going well. I hope things are going well. Let's switch this view like this. There we go. A little bit better. Yes, indeed. All right. While I do that, I'm also going to jump over because on Kick, I do have people that show up on Kick, but I've not been very good at engaging. So if you're on Kick, hello, welcome. I stream a lot. I stream to a lot of places. I'm going to try to stream here every day, at least 2 hours, 8:30 to 10:30. Every once in a while, I'm going to get a ping in my ear. And I expected to see a note. But we're working through it. And when I get pings in my ears, I got to go check on my teammates, make sure everybody's okay. We have this happening at 10. I do have some meetings. So today is going to be short a little bit. Today's going to be a tiny little short one. Not short, but right on time. So let's see. where we're at here. We have some individual results, and what had happened was, couldn't connect to MySQL or to Postgres. That's interesting. Well, that's not good. So I'm using Yugabyte Cloud for this, but my tests should be using my test containers. So that's not good. Hey, Todd, thanks. Gotta run. See ya. Yeah, get some rest and then start streaming. Take care of yourself. Self-care is important. So right now I feel like I'm in a big mess. Like nothing seems to be working. Nothing seems to be working. So this isn't great. It's not a good look. Yep, I have no revisions. It tried to do the YouTube service. It doesn't have good revision. Man, I got a lot. Okay, let's do this. Let's go pull back. YouTube service is clearly not ready for prime time. So let's remove that. That should fix it. Git status. Remove the YouTube service. And the nice thing is like everything should just be a git commit. That's what I want for you. I shouldn't have to remember a lot of steps. I need to improve my secrets management a little bit, but I shouldn't have to remember a lot of steps in order to do this. And that's where I want you to be. That's what I want for you. So we remove that. I feel like the gateway service has the secrets that it needs. I feel like we've done that. So how do I get that gateway service to stand up? Let's go make sure we're on the latest and greatest. Maybe we'll push out a new version. We'll try to push out a new version. Things haven't been working the way I expected, but that happens, right? Not every day goes perfect. So here's our routes. Hey, YouTube listener comes here. Zipkin, I'll let you see Zipkin, but the route you go to JavaGrunt. We've got our Redis information. That's good. We don't need Postgres, so it just needs the Redis information. Is there anything else we got here? Let's look at our POM. 3, 2, 1. Is there anything new? Let's take a look at the calendar. Spring Boot 3.2.2 gets released today. Is it out? So this is how hard it should be. Spring cubed. Let's see what happens. Oh man, I gotta fix that. SDK use Java 21.0.1-Girl CE. And then SDK env init. And then let's try that again. Spring cubed. Upgrade Spring Boot 3.2. Let's see if the recipe knows how to upgrade to the latest, greatest version yet. It says build success. Did we get an upgrade? No, we didn't. Not yet. Is 3.2.2 out? Let's just see. Let's just try it this way. Let's see what it does. Hey, can you go find those resources? Maybe not yet. Not yet. Okay, that's fine. That's cool. Um, oh, you can definitely bump it to 3.2.1. Wait, you're running into Spring Security issues with 3.2.1 and native images? Is that what I'm hearing? Like, let's talk about that. 3.2.1 introduces the bug. Ugh. Well, that's no good. So, yeah, we're going to be able to upgrade to Spring Boot 3.2.2 any minute. That's what this says. Today, it's coming. Same issue JitterTed had when I was on his stream. What was the issue? What was the issue? Native images and Spring Security? 3.2.1. That's I'm not recalling. I'm not recalling. But I want to. Spring AI is coming out tomorrow. This is exciting. This is huge. And I bet you there's another release of Spring AI really soon after that. But let's keep on going here. Let's roll this back. 3.2.1. Is there anything else that we want to upgrade, update? Spring Cloud versions 2023. We have a new Spring Cloud down here, but I think the 2023 is the latest. Spring Cloud release 2023.0. All right, so that's good. Is there anything else that we need to update in here? I'm looking for something that will give me a reason to push out a new version. I don't need that. Build info. Nope, this all looks good. This all looks good. Send a link on the GitHub issue. Thank you. All right. Here's what I'm going to do. I don't like to do this. I need something to add here. What can I do? Can I update my README? My README looks decent. I have my quick start. I had to do something. What else do I need to do? Let's just do this. I made a change. Don't judge. Git add. Oh yeah, I added the. All right, we're going to push out a version 14. We're going to go here to Flux, and we're going to say, hey, I want version 14. All right, let's see. Let's see how this goes. Today, a stark contradiction to how things were going yesterday. Yesterday, everything just seemed to work. So, we're moving. We're doing stuff. Let's keep on going. Let's see what we have here. Checking the stuff. We're in good shape. Let's see if we're back at K9s. I want to see that release. Oh, I gotta wait for it to build. So we abandoned this one. we said, hey, let's just get that service gateway updated. Let's check the actions. This is how we're building. It's going to build, the GitHub action is going to build the x86 version first, and then it's going to wait, and it's going to look for the ARM64 version that's coming from CircleCI before it builds a manifest. So this will take some time. You know what else we can do? Let's go look at this. I have one more project to try to like bring it all together. I have this web. So what this is going to do, let's just run it. Should be able to do that, right? This is my Vaadin. Oh, come on. This is my Vaadin front end, and this is going to hopefully tie everything together. I created this project over at start.vaadin.com, and I like it because I can deploy this as a native image as well. So what I'm going to do is I'll have my streams come in. Is that right? But then I'll have an index of videos and metrics. I use a Vaadin board. Oh, I should be able to do that. Uh-oh. There's something else I have to do. I have to click a button or something. YouTube Analysis Assistant. That is fancy. But what's the step that I had to do in order to check my license? I think I might have created this on a different computer. Well, that's weird. Let's try that again. Yeah, we can do this. Hey, AndyTux, good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. But we can. Building these Vaadin projects with native images is absolutely possible. I got to figure out what I'm doing wrong here. For some reason, my license isn't working. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to put in a front end. So this, it worked a second ago. It definitely just not wanting to work right now. What did I do wrong? Let's see if we can get some clues. Handler is null. Oh, so I added security and I didn't give it any way of handling it. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. It's hard to pick up where I left off, right? It's a whole lot easier, like finishing something and getting it to production. That's one of my problems. That's one of my character flaws, is like leaving projects unfinished in an unfinished state. Man, I have a hard time picking it back up. So let's do this. I don't think I need to do a whole lot, but let's go through this process one more again. Let's go to start. Not Spring. Start.vaadin.com. Oh, let's log in. I wasn't logged in. I should be able to log in with my Google. And look, I have this YouTube Analysis Assistant. Oh, that's not even the version that I was using. So this idea is have a dashboard, have all the videos from YouTube. I'm using Vaadin Flow, I think is the correct term that I'd be using. And then I was going to have like a stream here. I don't remember what I was going to use the stream for. I don't remember what I was going to use that for. I think I was going to use it for the different channels, like different, like, hey, my Twitters and stuff. But this is the UI. This is the main part. I want to put the videos in here. But you know what I didn't see? It says connection refused. I don't want to go to login. Let's do this. Where did I set that up at? The view stream video. There's a place here where I can say, hey, I want my project to have security. Let's just do this. Let's just export this project. Artifact ID. Yeah, that's right. Vaadin 21. Front end build tool. Use default. I don't need anything else. Let's download that. We're going to make it YouTube Analysis Assistant. Done. Replace. And what we're going to do, because this is how we roll, is we're going to close this one. And we're just going to unzip this other one on top of it. So wait, I have YouTube Analysis Assistant from January 5th, and then I have this from January 18. What's the difference? Let's move com Java Grunt Web YouTube to com Java Grunt Web YouTube .old. What's in this? Nothing. Okay. All right, so now we have a new version that we just made from start.vaadin.com. And let's do this. Do I have a repository out here? I don't. So it's not even out here. Okay, that's cool. So let's just do this. Let's make one. com.javagrunt.web.youtube. And of course, we're going to make it public. Let's create that repository. And then let's move all this stuff in here. Move YouTube Analysis Assistant to com Java Grunt Web YouTube. And we also have to move YouTube.get. And we have to move YouTube.m. All right. Is there anything left in there? There's a .vs code and a .idea. Should we move those? No. Maybe? Nah. So get rid of that. Now we've got a new project, com, Java Grunt, web, YouTube. And let's see what we get out of the box. We made a program, we made a project. I didn't do all of my conventions to it yet, but let's just see if it's working. WNW. It looks like there's a new version that we're pulling down, so that's good. That's cool. And compile failed. Java 21. Ugh. SDK Java 21.0.1-girl CE. SDK env init, so that I don't have to deal with that again. All right, please work. How often, how many ways do we pray, hope, bet, gamble, like, oh, if this works, I'll do this? All right, our application is working. This is a good start. There's nothing in the stream. The dash, oh, see, this is the problem that I had before. Why is the dashboard not working? I should have a license. So let me, this was working. Let me figure out how to do that. Again, I don't have all the answers, but I got friends. So let me reach out to my buddy, Lawrence. Could you help me figure out why my license isn't working with my new Vaadin Flow project? When you have a chance, question mark. All right, so we'll come back to that. But what we're going to do now is we're going to put this into our repo. And let's think about this. So the way that things are coming in, I've got Cloudflare. And I've kind of landed on Cloudflare is just going to send all the traffic to the gateway. So in that tenant, I'm just thinking out loud here. In that tenant for JavaGrunt.com, Cloudflare just says, hey, everything that comes in is going to go to the gateway service. That's what I want. I want all the traffic that comes in to go to the gateway service. And then the tenant gets to, hey, Jonas, thanks for stopping in. I will see you tomorrow. Is there anything you want me to be thinking about for tomorrow? If you got any ideas for what I should stream tomorrow, I will happily take them. StreamYard. I'm going to go ahead and schedule tomorrow's show right now. This one's going, but let's create another one for tomorrow, live stream on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, formerly known as Twitter, and Kick. And we're going to do some stuff. I'm just going to say Spring Boot and Raspberry Pis. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be something with Spring Boot, Flux CD, Raspberry Pi. Schedule that for tomorrow. Tomorrow's already Friday? I'm not leaving yet. No, I'm not leaving yet. I'm just scheduling tomorrow's show. I'm not leaving. I'm going to have to leave in a little bit, but not yet. Done. So tomorrow's show is scheduled. All right, Spring Cloud config server as native images just because it's something I need to fix. Yeah, like let's do that. So let's talk about that. Well, you got to go, Jonas. Let's talk about that tomorrow. This idea of, I'm trying to limit resources. We're deploying on Raspberry Pis. So do I want to, I really like what Spring Cloud config server gives me. I really like what it gives me and how it delivers. but I can also, all the things I can do with Spring Cloud configs, or most of them, I can do as configs and secrets inside of Kubernetes. But I'm not doing everything inside of Kubernetes. So yeah, this is a interesting thing, because the same goes for Eureka. Right, I can get discovery with Kubernetes native discovery, but I like Eureka. I'm used to it. You know, that's it's just a pattern that I've grown accustomed to, and I've got experience with it. But it's similar concepts. But do I need Eureka discovery? Because at scale, right? If I'm doing this with multiple clusters, let's go here. I've got multiple clusters that are coming. If I'm doing this with multiple clusters, and I've got multiple tenants per cluster, let's go back over to our Flux control. Right? If I've got multiple tenants, and again, we're running lean. If I'm doing that, do I want to have Spring Cloud Config and Spring Eureka? Do I want to have that for each tenant? Because I've already had pushback from others because the things that I am doing. I'm definitely going to have a Zipkin. Oops. I'm definitely going to have Loki. Grafana. Right? These are just like, you should have these when you go to production. You should have a place for your metrics, logs, and traces. Just, it's not really production if you don't have that, if you don't have a way of doing that. So somehow I cannot use the environment variable to set the value for value, even though I already set the environment. Oh, this is interesting. So here, there's one thing. One thing I'm looking at here is the parent dot. I know that the dots get replaced with the underscores. And do we also replace, the camel case? Do we do the underscore there? Do you have a repository that we can pull up and take a look at? Let me show an example of what we do, or how I do it normally. Let's go to here. Oh, I got a lot of changes that are sitting here. That's concerning a little bit. Maybe let's go to our task. Let's go over here. Open something a little bit easier to get through. Let's just show an example. Hey, Robotech. Hi, good morning. How are you? I'm glad that you're here. How did you were working on a save game system? How's that going? Here in this application, we're doing JDBC repositories. So this is hitting Postgres. This task goes out and grabs some information about a YouTube video. And it looks like it just puts it into a repository. It's got a schema that looks like this. It's got some tests. But as a task, a Spring Cloud task is something that you just run once. You can maybe schedule it. We don't expect it to be long running like a batch process. So let's see what we do here. You noticed in my application YAML, I've got spring.datasource.url. I'm saying, hey, use this environment variable or nothing. Let's see if I pull those environment variables forward. I don't think I do. But let's do this one, YouTube feed URL. Let's change that. Let's see if we can do what you're trying to do when. I want to create a variable called YouTube feed URL. So I'm going to go over here, and in my application, I want YouTube feed URL. I'm going to grab this value. Hello. Oh, what just happened? Excellent. I'm going to leave it in quotes, even though I don't think I need to. All right, so now I've got this YouTube feed URL. What is this? Cannot resolve configuration. Let's go over here. In my YouTube feed runner, I want to bring in no, I want value. My component has a property. I want to externalize that value so that I can set it using the environment variable, so I can use value. Yep. Like that, right? Let's do this. Might not have been initialized. Variable YouTube feed URL. I'm giving this value. Let's see. Let's see if this works. Not auto-wired. So all I've done was I took out that hard-coded URL. I moved it to a property YouTube feed URL. That's now over here in my, it's in my application YAML, but I can do the same thing. I can do the same thing I'm doing here. I can make it a part of my environment variables. 1 second, I'm going to move my screen because Pangama might be around and she's always trying to get my tokens. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to make export YouTube feed URL equals, and I'm going to grab this value. So in my envrc, done. Oh, that's cool. There's no secrets there. So here I put it into my environment variables. DMOC, did I say hi to you? I hope I did. Robotech, things are going slow, but learning a bunch. Today I'm doing wonderful. Things haven't been going as well as I had hoped today, but I'm feeling great. So we're going to try to do this. Private string, JWT secret. Yes, we're going to try to do this. So I put it into my environment variables. So here I do dir env allow. So I get it as an environment variable. Okay, so now we can see I have that environment variable. Then in my application YAML, I'm going to say, hey, I want this taller YouTube feed URL, or if it doesn't get it from the environment variable, then I want to default to something like HTTP broken. How's that? Or we'll just leave it empty. Cool. So if that exists, I want youtube.feed.url to grab from the environment. I'm saying that here, YouTube feed URL, put in there. youtube.feed.url should be the value. So we're hoping that this gets that value. So let's do this here in our constructor. Let's just do, when I run error processing string fetch feed data, when it runs, yeah, let's do this. Let's say, do I have a logger? Yes. Logger.info. YouTube feed URL. Boom. All right, so hopefully when this starts, so the question is, does it work if I don't have a YAML file like that? So if I don't have the property file pulling it in, could I pull in the environment variable directly? Yes. YouTube feed URL. So let's take that out. And what you're saying is this, I want this to pull from the environment variable, YouTube feed URL. Let's try it. Let's try it, right? I think that this will work. Get this environment variable and put it into this. Here, let's do it. Yeah. Should still work. What is this change down here? All right, let's see. W Spring Boot test run. It's standing up all the infrastructure using test containers. And we saw that at the beginning. I saw it. I saw it fly by. Did you? Hello, let's go. Let's go. Or maybe I didn't. I got a lot of stuff spitting out here. Yep, it did work. YouTube feed URL got populated. So let's review. What we were doing was we're passing in an environment variable, YouTube feed URL. This is in my environment. Here's the value. And inside of my feed runner, I'm saying, hey, grab that value. Okay, so here's another good question. But if we do that, and in another deployment, I provide a YAML file, but not the env, does it still work? So if I provided YouTube feed URL, it depends on where you're gonna pull. Oh my goodness, my wife is here. The CEO of this house is here. This is amazing. I've already said hi to mom and dad. Now I'm like, hey, Jillian, I love you. Thank you for being here. This is wonderful. This folks, this doesn't happen. My wife does not, she's right up there. Like she can hear half of what's going on, but she doesn't really get the whole thing. Like she doesn't like compute with her. So I'm glad that you're here, wifey. I'm glad that you're here. So when I'm here, the placeholder, if I change this value, this environment variable value, and I decide that I want to do this application YAML, what we had before is youtube.feed.url. So by doing this, hey, thank you for that. That's wonderful. If we do it this route, where we're asking for the environment variable, we could give a default value. Here we could give a default value, but then I would be asking for youtube.feed.url in order to make it work. So you got to know where that variable's going to be found. If I do it this way, I can grab it from my properties, and my properties are grabbing it from the environment, and that might give you the best option of pulling from the environment variables when they're there, because you can still provide a default. Does that make sense? If you change placeholder. Yeah, back to the YouTube feed URL. Yeah, that's what we did. So I'm changing YouTube feed.url, and I'm changing it up here to ask for youtube.feed.url, and let's just check. What we're expecting is the application YAML is saying, hey, grab this from the environment variable and then populate it as youtube.feed.url. Let's scroll up and let's see and make sure that we got our value. I'm pretty sure we did because I can see all the other videos that we pulled down. Oop, close, close, close. And here it is. Right, there's that 1008, it's 1009. So that is the example that we just did. So thank you for giving me a question that I could answer, because the rest of the show hasn't really been going that great. So I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. And hopefully that works. Now, it looks like, according to your question, maybe you're missing the bracket, dollar bracket in your value. And maybe that's the only thing, because I have that dollar bracket instead of just value parent.child field. So try that. That's the only thing I can see different. But that works. Let's see. So now let's talk about this Spring Cloud task. I don't need to talk about that. The Spring Cloud task, again, is something that we're going to run maybe on a cron, on a clock schedule. We don't expect it to last very long. It's something that we should be able to retry, but it's different from a batch job where batch is keeping track of all the different steps. Spring Cloud task is a little bit simpler, less complex. It's just something that we can run on a schedule. Similar to a batch, but a little bit lighter is the word I'm going to use. So let's see if there's something interesting here that we can do. If I go to spring.io, I'm going to go to my project, Spring Cloud, and I'm going to go to Spring Cloud task. I want to see if they give us any YAML. Hey, did that work? Did you get over? Because if you tell me that you tried it and you fixed it, that would be awesome. I'm glad I could help. Happy to work through things like that. But if you tell me that now your application is working, you've made those changes, then that would be wonderful. So let's single step batch job starter. Interesting. Spring Cloud stream integration. So like we talk Spring Cloud task. Spring Cloud task reference. Think of it as the map of the rest of the document. You can read this reference about the documentation, getting help, first steps. Like we know how Spring Cloud task works. To run your example, hey, wait a minute. Don't you guys remember when we updated all of this? We updated the documentation. Didn't we do that on Spring Cloud task? Hold on. Spring, github.com, Spring Cloud task. There's our breeds. Wait, my PR, there's our preet, updating the getting started docs. We did this. We did this on the show. Update the output. I'm wondering why it's not there. I wonder if it'll go out with the next release. Let's look at the wiki. I'm gonna go look at the calendar real quick. Apologies. I'm here. Spring Cloud is gonna come out. Did we get a new Spring Cloud task release anytime? No. So we made the updates to the documentation. We already submitted the PR for this documentation. Doesn't it seem like it'd be nice to have a Kubernetes deployment for this? Has anybody done a Kubernetes cron job? Kubernetes cron. Actually, can I do that with Knative? Knative.dev. Can we do a cron? Cron. No. Events, sync scaling. I don't think we can. Knative cron. Oh, wait. The sync is a Knative service and the subject is a cron job. Oh, maybe that we were in the right spot. The topic describes how to create a sync binding object. Sync binding resolves a sync as a URI, sets the URI in the environment variable ksync, adds the URI to a subject using ksync. If the URI changes, sync binding updates the value of ksync. In the following example, the sync is a Knative service and the subject is a cron job. If you have an existing subject and sync, you can replace the examples with your own. So I have a subject, and that's that Spring Cloud task. So before we begin, a sync binding, you must have Knative eventing installed in your cluster, which I don't. If you want to use Knative commands with sync binding, install kncli. Choose sync binding namespace selection behavior. The sync binding object operates in one of two modes, exclusion or inclusion. So where we have Knative eventing in my head, instead of doing the things that Knative eventing would do, I think I'm going to be using Spring Cloud Dataflow. And I still don't have my head wrapped around that just yet. So let's just go back and let's just do a cron job. Cron job creates jobs in a repeating schedule. Cron job is meant for performing regular scheduled actions such as backups, report generation, and so on. One cron job object is like one of the cron tab files on Unix file system. Yeah, it runs a job periodically on a given schedule. So here's an example. And here I can make it the image. So here, this is all that I need to do a cron job. Writing a cron job spec. Okay. So let's do this first. Let's take our new feed runner and let's look. My scenario is a little bit tricky. I am given a Docker image with a Spring Boot application in it. The jar was built with no YAML file, so I have to either inject a YAML file or set all the property using env. Yeah, use the envs. That's the better way. Just use the envs. So that's one of those concepts of I want my application to get its property from the environment. So just use the env. That ought to work. We showed it. We showed that it'll work. You don't have to have the YAML file. You can set those properties to the env. So this makes a little bit of a change in our application. Let's go see if this is configured as an image. It looks like it's been updated here. So let's go take a quick peek because what we're going to do is we're going to push this out. We're going to make this a part of our cron job, part of our Java Grunt application. So it did its thing. I don't know if I want it to be all that verbose logging. What do you think? Can I turn it down? Where, hey, that's fine. But do I need all of this to be info? Maybe debug? Just so it's not so crazy. Sure, I can save a video. Let's see what that looks like. Let's see if we got rid of a bunch of the stuff. Let's just run it. Let's see if we just clean up our logs a little bit. We don't want to be, we want to be good consumers of the platform, no matter what, right? And throwing out a ton of log files, that's not good for anybody, especially if it's not useful. So here, I've just got the information that we've saved a video. So this just reminded me, I've got a lot of videos on my YouTube that aren't really tech related. So they, yeah, I might not need to do the thumbnail stuff that I normally do. So I need to think about that. I need to think about a workaround for that. But this is working. Those logs are a whole lot easier to navigate. So let's build this. Git status, git add these things, git commit. We said we changed hard-coded URL to an env variable. So let's push those changes. And then let's see what tag we're on here. Oh, we don't have any, so let's tag it. Tag. Oh, let's go make sure that our Circle CI is running first. Circle CI. We're logging in. We're going to make sure that we can get a build on the first try. Log in with GitHub. We're in our projects. We are in the Java Grunt COM project. And Java Grunt task is already working. This web, let's go ahead and set up that project. Yeah, we'll get there. Oh, I don't have it. Never mind. So we're all set. This should be ready to go. Awesome. So let's tag v0.0.1, git push origin v0.0.1. Something's going to break, right? Something's going to break. These things don't work the first time for me. And especially now that the CEO is watching, something's going to go wrong. Let's close up some of this stuff. We don't need this. Let's go up here to our task and let's see how that task is working. Let's see if that action is working. Hey, it didn't break yet. This is a good sign. Oh boy. That's not good. Let's see what happened. Let's see what happened. What did you do? I'm sure it's a Java version. Project YouTube test error illegal state. What? Data source. Failed to configure a data source. Failed to configure a data source. All right, so I'm not passing in a data source, but when I run my tests, I have a service connection to a Postgres. Let's just do test. Let's just do a test. Let's figure out what is happening. So this is going back to like the Maven lifecycle, where it's getting its properties from. All right, so same thing. It's saying, hey, merge context configuration. It doesn't have one. Why is that? So this is similar to what I was running into before. Why does it feel like it's not standing up the test container? Why does it feel like it's not standing up the test container? I'm going to close this context here. NW clean test. Because I didn't do it for the application tests. That's why. I only did it for test application. So let's fix that real quick, which shouldn't be hard. Abstract app tests. So one of the nice things I like to do, and this I might run Argon database URL usually goes into your application YAML. Yes, Spring doesn't like it when you are using Spring data and no data source. Yes, agreed. I'm just realizing the time, so I think I have another thing. Nope. I'm good. I skipped a meeting. So I got a little bit more time. So here's what we're gonna do. One of the things I like to do, as you can see here, is I'm going to set up my tests. So I have application tests and these JVM tests, so I can do some interesting things. So this is one. I'm going to go here to abstract app tests, and I'm going to do something similar here. Now, Spring Cloud task, the documentation is going to be interesting. Like, how do I? Right, there's no REST endpoint, there's no anything, but I still should have a document, right? So in order to see other comments, I've got to do this. I've got to pull them in from the different sources. So thank you for reminding me, because I'm streaming on LinkedIn and Twitter and Twitch and YouTube. We get comments like you're on YouTube and Argon's over on Twitch, but we should still be able to see them. So I've got to like bring them into the screen so I can see them. I can see them in the order that they come in, but yeah, I need to do a better job of bringing that in. And that's something that a bot would do, right? That's something that we should do on stream, is like make sure those messages show up somewhere. That'd be cool. So yeah, Hopefully that helps. Hopefully that makes things understandable there. I'll do better on bringing those in. So what I wanted to do, all I wanted to do was not on the listener. It was over here on the task. I have this application test. It's trying to stand up a context, but it's not able to. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, hey, yeah, just this. I'm going to extend it. I don't need this. I just need test containers. I'm going to go, where is it? Here. Why? I'm going to make this. I'm making it abstract because I'm going to be able to test the same thing against JVM as I do against my native image. Awesome. Okay, I see. That's cool. Yes, that's what we're trying to do. So I'm going to make this abstract test. And I'm going to put this, I'm not going to go back and forth all the time. I'll put it over here. I'm going to make sure I'm not missing. Oh, here we go, coding. Do you know how to make apps? Yes. So this is a comment over on Kick. And Kick, yes. Tizzy Tana, yes, I know how to make apps. That's what we are doing on this stream. Boom. Kick, I can't pull the Kick conversation into here just yet because it's not integrated into StreamYard. Kick's API is still in beta and coming along. But yeah, my Twitch channel is twitch.tv/JavaGrunt. And same on kick.com/JavaGrunt. Most places I'm just Deshawn, like youtube.com/@Deshawn. There you go. You got all my stuff. I'm on twitch.tv/JavaGrunt, kick.com/JavaGrunt, and youtube.com/@Deshawn. And on Twitter, I'm @Deshawn, and on LinkedIn, I believe I'm also Deshawn. So fantastic. There we are. We're doing stuff. I want to get this test working. I want to get this container image deployed. So what we're going to do, we usually boot up the test container database in a static context, pull out the JDBC URL, and pass it into Spring Data Source URL by system set property. But we don't have to do that anymore. Now we have service connectors. So this is an improvement that came with Spring Boot 3.1. So yeah, stay here and watch and learn how we're going to do this. I'm going over here. I'm going to extend this with test containers. And then inside of that, I'm going to do this. I'm going to say the same thing I did over here in my test application. I'm going to grab these test containers. Boop. So now I've got test containers, and they're doing the whole like URL fancy. Yeah, so the service connector says, hey, you're starting up Postgres. I know what Postgres is all about. This Postgres container is like, yeah, cool. Here's the URL, here's the property, here's the username and password, and it puts it into, right? It's the steps that we were doing back here, the steps that we were doing, it was undifferentiated. It was Yeah, busy work. So we made it a little bit simpler. Now we have a service connection that we can use to do all of that work. Makes it really easy. Please create a static instance not to redeploy test container for each test. Yeah, and we have the ability to decide if we want to redeploy or not redeploy with this. Yeah, spare some glue code. Yep, that's real. So, but not magic. Just we've simplified it. But you understand what's happening. It's like you have a default username and password that you're going to use for that container. Like, does it matter in your test? Does it matter what the URL, username, and password are? Does it matter? No, just connect. Just give me a service connection. So let's go. What else do we need to do? I don't need to do all the. Oh. So the pattern that I used before, or the pattern I was thinking I was going to use was I have a REST docs. Sorry, I forget what the framework is called. Rest assured. But we're not doing REST here. So testing my class is going to be a little bit different. What I normally do is when I'm building a REST application, I build it with the JVM and I run the tests using the JVM for my inner loop. But then when I go to production, that path to production, actually, let me pull that back. I'm running the exact same tests, right? I have that abstract test. I'm running the exact same tests against a native image. I build the application into a native image, and then I run the exact same tests against the native image. And I'm trying to do that now with a Spring Cloud task where there's not a REST endpoint. There's not rest assured isn't even in the mix. So how do I do that? I want to make sure that the results that I get from a local unit test match the results I'd get from a container image. And maybe I'm biting off too much. So maybe I'll circle back to this and I'll just do this. Oops. Maybe that's all I need to do. Give myself service. Yeah, I love YouTube because I can go back and watch what I missed. Take a quick look. Yeah, absolutely. And if I'm doing my job, I'll make transcripts of this so we can go and search and we can find where did we talk about that stuff. So it's still not connecting. What am I doing wrong? This is not a good stream. Like if I'm going to be cool, I want all this stuff to work, but I also want to understand why it works. I expected this bit say, hey, now I've got a service connection to Postgres, which will provide everything I need for my data source configuration. I shouldn't need it because I should be getting it from this bean. So what am I doing wrong? Because this is going to work, right? Yeah. Is it this? Let's find out. See, I expect my test containers to show up before my Hikari stuff. What am I doing wrong? And I know it's something simple. But I'm not even worried at the moment because watch this. Because watch this. Like, who needs those tests anyways? I have my test application class that runs, that works, that validates my code. But it does not get executed in this loop. Zero tests. So if I want to bring this in, I want it to execute. Loading the context. I have another example. I'm missing something silly. So, but in the meantime, because I'm time-wise, let's do this. Get status. Let's just go ahead and we're going to push with that. Remove broken test. Get push. Get tag. Get tag v0.0.2. Get push origin v0.0.2. Let's get this build out and then let's come back and make sure that we can add our test containers. The bean factory methods need to be in an inner configuration class. I don't think so. I'm missing something silly. Yeah, we didn't see them. We didn't see those test containers get stood up. So, again, this is another part of why I'm liking doing this stuff is I need to learn and I need to make these things automatic. I'm still doing too much searching and grabbing. If I want to be at the level that I want to be at, I got to put in the work, and I believe that every rep counts. So the more I practice this, the more I go through these exercises, the better I'll get. So here we are. Let's keep it going. We expect that to work. Let's go back and check on our containers. Let's see if we got some images built because I want to really get this cron job out. So we moved the broken test. Let's see. It's taking a little bit longer. Let's see if Circle CI is doing the same. Circle CI is going. It failed. So let's see if we get an image that we can deploy. So in the meantime, how do I deploy this? Wait, where do we put our Kubernetes cron job? We want something as simple as this. And we're going to put that into our Flux repository so that we can just deploy this task with Kubernetes and Flux. So now we're in Java Grunt COM. Here's our customization. This is what our other customizations look like, where they are deploying services. But we're going to do this. We're going to go com.javagrunt.task.youtube.yaml, right? This is the project that we're working in. Com Java Grunt task YouTube. So we want one of those files. Let's make it new file. com.javagrunt.task.youtube.yaml. And in there, we're just going to put our YAML. It's a cron job, metadata. We want to give it a namespace. Except it's not YouTube service, it's YouTube task. In the namespace javagrunt-com. And this is saying run every minute, right? Oh, it's saying, for example, blah, 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 every Friday night at midnight. Let's say just at, other than the standard, some macros can also be used at hourly. Let's just do it at hourly. How's that? So that this job will run every hour and do what it does, which is just go and grab videos. So I think I can replace this with at hourly. We'll try. Job template spec, template container, the container name. Ours is going to be deshaun/com.java/grunt.task.youtube v0.0.2, hopefully. Image pull policy, if not present. Sure. Command. No, we don't need a command. Restart policy on failure. Sure. Let's bump that. I don't even think I need the name. Oh, maybe I do. I do need a name. All right. Maybe that'll work. Maybe that'll work. If we get batch cron job. Okay. So if we get a build, so we have now an x86 version. Now the manifest phase is waiting to pull an ARM64 version from over here at Circle CI, which should happen any minute. Oh, we're getting close. So I have my pipeline set up so that I build an ARM64 version and an x86 version. Let's go over to Hub. And they're out there so you can use them too. Here it is. We can see here in the tags for version 2 that we've got a Linux AMD 64 version, but we want a V002 ARM64 or Arch 64, right? We want that one to show up. And once both of those show up, then we glue them together into a manifest. So when I ask for V002, if I'm on x86, I'll get the x86 version. If I'm on ARM64, I'll get the ARM64 version. So we're waiting for Circle CI to be done. Oh, Circle CI pushed the Arch64 version up. So if I go back here, I will see the Arch64 version in a different tag. Boom, I see the Arch64 version in a different tag. And then, look at this one has ARM64, this one has AMD64. But then I create a manifest that has both layers. And look at, you'll notice that these are the same. I got 185 is here, and I got 9133 is here. So it takes, in that manifest, it's got both images. It's got an ARM64 version and an x86 version. So whatever platform I'm on, if I'm pulling it down from a Raspberry Pi and I ask for V002, I'm going to get the ARM64 version. So this is a nice thing that I've done in my pipelines so that over here, all I've got to do is say V002. If it lands on a NUC, an Intel box, it'll get the x86 version. If this job lands on an ARM64 box, it'll get the x86 or the ARM64 version. So this should be all that I need to deploy that cron job, to get that cron job to run hourly. How do we test it? We can go look at the Redis database. So these headphones are hurting my ears. So I'm going to do things a little different. I've got 15 minutes. Let's see if we can get some minor win. Let's see if we can get a little win on something that actually works the way I expected it to. So we're here. Get status, get add all these things. So I've got my new task that I want to deploy. This cron job is what we're doing. And we've just deployed the Kubernetes YAML. And as the developer in that tenant, as a developer, all I need to do, I need to turn this up, sorry. As a developer, this is all I need to do. I'm saying, hey, platform, go deploy this version for me. And I've added it to my list of things to deploy. So let's do this, git commit. So now, if I'm here, I'm on ARM64, right? Let's do that again. I expect to see it. Maybe it's a cron job. It'll do it every hour, but I should be able to like still find those, right? So after it gets deployed, I should be able to look for cron jobs. Oh, there it is. So I've got one. Let's go and let's do this. Let's do a D for describe. And it looks like it's still just waiting. All right, cool. But it's there. So that's a good sign. Now, how do we see if it deploys? Pods. So it's there. I want to do this so I can see a little bit better. It's there. It's deployed. It's on the cluster. It's on that ARM64 cluster. It was on. Oh, it doesn't need to be on a node because it's going to run hourly. So it'll just find its node whenever it needs to. So this is lame because I want to run it. This right here is going to run every minute. Every minute. So let's do that. Let's have it run every minute. It's okay. We're hitting the YouTube API. We might get in trouble or run out. Let's do if I want to do it like every 5 minutes, let's just do it this way. We're just gonna do it every minute. Let's do this. We'll do it every minute and then we'll shut it down. Let's just make sure it runs. It doesn't take that long. So we're back here. We're in our task. We're gonna change this to every minute. Oops, zoink. Zoink. Get add dot. Get commit. Every minute. So now all we're doing is saying, hey, I just want to see this same thing. Oh, and it's running. There's the schedule. I want to see if I can get logs from it while it's running. But it runs really fast. We shouldn't have to wait for more than 60 seconds to see it run. We see its new schedule. Oh, wait, I have this T here where I can trigger that cron job. Oh, failed to start. Oh, look at this. I didn't pass in my environment variables. But why didn't I do that? Okay. So I'm not going to figure out. Here's what I need to do. I need to, in my Flux control here, where for this tenant, I've only got secrets set up for Redis Cloud. I need to have the secrets set up for Yugabyte Cloud as well. I'm gonna have to cut the stream, but we're gonna come back. I feel like I'm making progress. We're gonna start to glue some of these things together, and it'll be visible. So all the repositories are there, all the code's there. I make as much of this stuff public as possible. And if you're interested in doing Spring Boot on Raspberry Pis or on other single board computers, this is the place to be. So I've got to. Oh, here. What was the reasoning to move cron job into the separate app rather than just make it part of the YouTube app? Yeah, the architecture here, for what I'm trying to do in a 2-hour show, I'm trying to do these in little bits, right? Like small consumable chunks. Like yesterday I did, what did we do yesterday? No, yesterday, 2 days ago, we did Pulsar. I'm just trying to make these small consumable chunks. And you're right. It might be better to deploy these things in a monolith, in a one container that we can deploy. But it makes it kind of hard to talk about the separate pieces. So I totally understand where you're coming from. But I have these other domains. So here, you can still see my screen. I've got these other tenants like redisgeek.com, which is a very similar, thing, redisgeek.com, where I'll turn this into the same thing. But instead of having it as separate microservices and tasks, maybe I'll deploy a similar architecture using a monolith. So everything will just be in one artifact, which makes a lot of sense. But having the two examples, stay tuned, we'll do it that way as well. Wen says, I found the reason for my problem, Deshaun. The Spring Framework documentation says that relaxed bindings for value is limited. There's a limitation for camel case properties. There we go. There we go. Fantastic. I'm glad that thank you for sharing back with me that you found your problem and that you got over it. That makes the stream a little bit better for me. We ran into a lot of points where I got stuck and I didn't make a whole lot of progress. We didn't get anything cool to production. So your little feedback, that really helps me want to come back and do this. Now, today, I've got a bunch of meetings today. Normally, I kind of come back in the afternoon, but I have a bunch of meetings and they are important. So I've got to jump now. I got to make sure that I'm keeping my job. That's a really big deal here. I need to keep my job. So thanks. Just thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you all. This is fun. I hope that you're liking it. If there's things that you'd like to see me working on, you can ask. I've got no schedule, so I'd love to help you get over a hurdle. That's it. So hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. It's scheduled. Who knows what we'll work on? Hopefully we'll have a little bit more success than we did today, but I would love to see you there. I would absolutely love to see you there. So if you're enjoying it, smash that like button, follow depending on where you're at, right? Let's be friends. Let's hang out. And I hope to see you. Just that, those words, that's why I do it. I want to be here. I'm at your service. We're going to do some stuff. Some days it's going to go better than others, but I'm going to be here. I'm going to show up every single day. And if you've got questions, I don't have all the answers, but I'll reach out to my friends on the other channels and we'll see if we can get some answers for you. So thanks for coming and starting my day. This is a start to my day. I appreciate you starting your day with me. It's fun. I hope to see you tomorrow. So thanks. It's been a pleasure. And I hope to see you tomorrow. Smash that like button, follow me, and tell your friends, and we'll see you soon. Bye.